Thank you so much for checking out my calculator. I've spent a lot of time on this. I'm really proud of it. And I've been promising a video walkthrough for a long time. And here it is. The main focus of the calculator is going to be around your personal salary requirements. Now, this might seem upside down to a lot of people. A lot of videographers, a lot of creators will tell you that you need to base your prices on the market and what other people are charging. And I find that to be completely and ridiculously untrue. Prices in your market should be different than prices in my market. The skill and equipment and time it takes me to do something is going to be different than the skill and equipment and time it takes for you to do something. If I'm using Canon DSLRs and you're shooting with a RED, then I think that your prices should be much different than mine. What I've done on the front end of this calculator is given you an opportunity to input what you want your personal salary to be. And I think that that's an extremely important part of the whole thing, the whole reason to price, the whole reason that you're doing any work at all is so that you can afford your lifestyle, that you can make money for your family, you can feed yourself, feed your family, take care of yourself, pay for your home, pay for your expenses, pay for your car, pay for your lifestyle. It's the base for all of this. So it should be the very, very key part of how you set your individual prices. If your cost of living is much lower than mine, then that just gives you an advantage because you're able to pay for your lifestyle with less compensation than I am. And therefore, I think that your prices should be reflected that way. I've made it really easy so that you can put in what your monthly housing cost is now versus what you're expecting it to be in the future. It's important to project a future housing cost. If you're not quite sure about what these costs should be, I have made some appendices in the back with some updated data on what housing costs are in the United States, what we're seeing in Australia, what we're seeing in Canada, and what we're seeing in the United Kingdom. So I'm in Queens. So I would say that a one-bedroom apartment is at least $2,000. If you have roommates, maybe you're doing it for $1,200. So let's say that you're living in an apartment in Queens and you're paying $1,200. Let's say you're paying $1,000 because you have a roommate, right? But eventually, what do you want to do? You want to be able to have your own place. So in 5 years, you're going to move out, you're going to have your own place, and you're going to spend $2,100 a month on housing. Your percentage of housing income is the number that you can play with for your lifestyle. I think 30% is standard, like I said here. So let's keep it at 30 for now. But if, eventually if you're making a lot of money, then your housing percentage can be less of the amount of your income. 30 is pretty standard. And then if you want to go down as you're making more and more money, then you can do that. So let's set it at 30. $21,000. Yeah, let's do that. There we go. 21. That means we need to make $628,000 a year. Great. Let's do that. Let's make $2,100 a month instead. Okay. Leave this blank if you want to use these numbers, but this is showing, and then your tax rate. Let's just leave that at 30 because I think that that's fair. And this is saying that we need to make $88,000 a year. We'll bring home $62,000 a year. And that gives us enough money to pay our rent for now. And it pads our income so that eventually we can start looking at places that are a little bit more expensive. What does this do? This is taking the average. So if I just did 1,000 and 1,000, then that means I only need to make $57,000 a year to pay my rent. And that's 30%, right? That's not a ton of money, but we can go with those numbers. I would definitely set this higher. That means that you need to make a little money so that you can move into that larger apartment. You can get rid of your roommate. And then we want to go over to our business information, monthly editing service. We're not using that right now. Equipment, you want to be able to replace your equipment every 3 or so years. So let's say you put $500 a month towards equipment. You're just starting out, you want to be able to replace things. If that's higher, then it's higher. If you want to do $1,250 per month towards equipment, then that means that you have $15,000 a year to spend on equipment. That's great. So let's do that. Marketing and advertising, that's going to be, whatever that is, your marketing and advertising. At first, you might be doing very little. Like let's say you're doing $120 a month for that. Subscriptions is going to be like your Adobe subscription, etc. That can be $75. Car and transportation. Here you would have a Metro card, and so or you would have a car, but a Metro card. What is it like $150 a month or something? I don't know. Professional memberships, maybe you don't have that quite yet. Your insurance is going to be, let's say it's like $1,200. So let's say it's like $100 a month. Cell phone is $100. Your website and your email is going to be, is it like $8 a month, something like that? I don't just make up with these numbers. So this sets your business's overhead at $1,875 per month, which is significant, but that's fair. Great. So how does this work now? This is going to take this data, and like any of these tabs that we go into, the cost basis is going to roll over here. Okay. And it's going to show you what we're basing that off of. So back here in business info, if you don't like this number, if you think that you deserve more money, and just throw it in here, $100,000. Okay. I don't want $88,000 a year. I want $100,000 a year. So when we bounce over here, it's changing here, and it's keeping your inflate overhead here,